Before this, El Kakui, Tony Ferguson, was the boogeyman of the lightweight division. In this video, we take a look at his legendary 12-fight win streak that made him one of the most loved fighters in UFC history. I put prime Tony Ferguson up against any lightweight in UFC history. El Kakui would start off his win streak with his signature DOS choke that he made famous inside the octagon against Mike Rio.
Oh, good left hook by Ferguson. Rio's in trouble. He locked it up. Loves this technique. He got it. It's all over.
Tony Ferguson would continue his win streak with a knockout win over Katsunori Kikono, proving that he is deceptively powerful despite what his body may lead you to believe.
Yeah, blocking. And there you see it. Blocking punches with your face shut Kikuno off tonight. Flying knee. I want him running into anything. Look at this. Left, big right. Kikuno's in big trouble. Big slam. And, you know, he's... Oh, my goodness!
Tony Ferguson would extend his win streak to 3 wins with a close split decision win over Danny Castillo.
Tony El Kakui Ferguson!
Tony Ferguson pulls off a beautiful rear naked choke to secure his 4th straight win over Abel Trujillo.
Watch out for the knee. Snaps him down. It's it. It's it.
It's all over!
Tony Ferguson's 5th straight win came up against Gleison Tibau, where he pulls off yet another rear naked choke win.
Gleison in the pocket there. The left hand by Gleison. Good right hand by Ferguson. Glaison's done. He's done.
It's all over!
Around this time, the UFC lightweight division was stacked, and the fact that Tony Ferguson was able to rack up 5 wins in such a tough division just proved how good he really was. But as you can see, Khabib Nurmagomedov and Donald Cerrone was still ahead of him, and Khabib would eventually have a win streak just as impressive as Tony Ferguson, but Khabib would get injured, allowing Tony Ferguson to claim the spot as the boogeyman of the lightweight division. We have reached halfway through Tony Ferguson's win streak, and this is when Tony Ferguson just starts slicing up all his opponents due to El Kakui's pointy-ass elbows. Tony Ferguson would extend his win streak to 7 wins against one of the most dangerous strikers in UFC history, and was able to pull off his signature DOS choke against Edson Barboza when Edson Barboza was in his prime.
And then he follows it up with a left. Oh, beautiful timing by Ferguson. Oh, beautiful spinning back elbow. Good job by Ferguson to defend. Ferguson. Oh, got it! He's got it! Ferguson!
Tony Ferguson entered his fight with Lando Vannata, who was a late replacement for Michael Chiesa, as the 3rd-ranked contender in the UFC lightweight division, with a 21-win and 3-loss record. And he was expected to run through Lando Vannata, but instead we got one of the best fights that doesn't get talked about enough. The fact that this wasn't even Tony Ferguson's best fight just proves that Tony Ferguson is honestly one of the most entertaining fighters in UFC history. But this was the fight where Tony Ferguson rolling around after getting rocked meme was born.
Combination for Ferguson is good. There for Vannata. You know this had the potential to be crazy. Vannata did connect. These guys are bringing it. This fight is crazy. Oh my Ferguson goes down. That has Ferguson hurt. Ferguson almost caught. Oh! This fight is crazy. Uh-oh. Starting to square. There's the attack.
Tony Ferguson would pick up his 9th straight win in the UFC's lightweight division in a #1 contender eliminator fight against Rafael dos Anjos, where he really put on the show and showed the rest of the lightweights that he was ready for the belt. This was around 2016 when the UFC, in my opinion, had its best year. Tony Ferguson was 3rd behind arguably the 2 best fighters in the MMA history, John Bones Jones and Demetrius Johnson, for longest active UFC win streaks, and he was entering his prime around this point of his career. Despite Tony Ferguson never getting a title shot, he was given the chance to win the interim UFC lightweight belt against Kevin Lee in a heated build-up that gave us some unforgettable El Cucuy moments, and Tony Ferguson would pick up his 10th straight win and the interim UFC lightweight belt, submitting Kevin Lee with a triangle choke in what I believe to be the peak of his career. Tony Ferguson was destined to face off against Khabib Nurmagomedov to determine who was the #1 lightweight in the UFC. However, multiple failed attempts to make the fight caused Dana White to eventually give up on booking that matchup. Tony Ferguson would suffer a career-altering injury where he tripped over a cable that would pull him out of action, leading him to be stripped of the belt, and the UFC made him work his way back up in a return fight against Anthony Pettis that remains, in my opinion, as Tony Ferguson's best fight of his career.
When he switches stance.
Yeah, he's chewing. And that's one thing about Pettis, we can barely say anything on him. Good reffing, good reffing.
In the T-Mobile Arena right now. Woo! This is going the round.
Ferguson is just...
And we just got a shower loop. Into the round, Pettis covers it. Where you at, McNuggets, you fucking piece of shit?
Tony Ferguson picked up his last win of his legendary 12-fight win streak, and possibly his last win of his career against Donald Cowboy Cerrone in another unforgettable war.
Oh, elbow by Tony. Good right hand by Ferguson. The head kick. Look at these guys. It's forcing him to breathe out of his mouth. Head kick blocked. Look at that. Oh. This fight's going to be over right here. You can't do that. Besides the bad ending, congratulations on an excellent performance. Tony Ferguson, ladies and gentlemen.
Until he erase him. True to be tweaking like somebody laced him. I know some demons and proud with they Haitian. Niggas ain't dropping no bodies, they fake. They can't get no passes if he wrote a statement. Can't get no passes if he wrote a statement.